Here's just another view of those buildings that we were just looking at. See how tall they are, how beautiful it is to see. Now, from the High Line, we're able to take another view of the Hudson Yards development. You can see how far along they've progressed and how beautiful the buildings are. And again, I said by 2025, this whole area is going to be developed. So if you look around just where we are right now, you end up seeing a lot of trucks that are here. And this will be gone because they're going to use this space also for the development. So it's going to be amazing seeing everything. But that is the long-term plan. And that's why they're going to have all these buildings around here. And that's going to be very important for that to happen. Isn't it just beautiful seeing these buildings under construction? And once that stage is completed, with these buildings complete, there's going to be so many people in the area, and then even more people where I'm standing now. It's a long-term development. It was in the planning stages more than a decade ago, and more than maybe 15 or 17 years ago. So that's how long it takes to really come up with something. Again, a slightly different view, just to give everyone perspective. That big structure in the middle is scheduled to be like a monument. Monuments to achievement. That's what New York is all about. That's really what these buildings are. Now, for example, you look at the Shanghai skyline. In 30 years, you saw a huge change in the Shanghai skyline. Same thing happened with New York from like 1890 to 1920. You saw a huge change in the skyline. And this is another example of a huge change in the skyline for New York. But a lot of this is being financed by the low-cost capital that's available. And this, what we see in front of us, are the train yards. They've always been here. This is where they store a lot of the trains that have to be used to go from New York, New Jersey, to Westchester, Metro North. Obviously, you have to put your train someplace, and you can't drive them from 50 miles away to be on the spot when the trains start their service in the morning or have to end their service in the evening. And as I said, this is all going to be covered up by pylons and other structures. Now, you might say, well, how on earth can they do that? Well, they've done that 100 years ago, too, when they created Grand Central. There's a lot of trains, train tracks under Grand Central, and they're all covered up by a roadway. And that roadway has been there for like 100 years. So Park Avenue, for example, has trains running underneath it, even though someone might not realize it when they're on Park Avenue. Just a different view of the sculpture and the buildings under construction here. We were just looking at those buildings earlier. Fascinating seeing that and seeing how everything is being done. And then sort of as a centerpiece, center sculpture, they have this little monument under construction here. Very expensive sculpture. And then the building right next to it, buildings right next to it going up. And as I said, this is just one of the phases. There's more phases to take place. It's just that they don't want to do everything at once, and they want to make sure they get this phase up and running and paying for itself, then going on to the next phase. And again, this is the Hudson Yards project, scheduled for completion in the year 2025. And then we'll just take a little view of the area around here, just to show everyone what's going on. This is where they're parking a lot of the equipment that they're using. And there in the distance, where you see all that open space, is the Hudson River. And that big building with glass is the Jacob Javits Center. And we are on 11th Avenue looking north.